right, now we're going to continue our conversation with Capitol Beat reporters Marianne Goodland and Kristen Wyatt.
Well, let's talk about last night's caucuses. I was in there seeing the long lines at the Democratic caucus sites. A lot of first-timers were out there for both parties. Confused about why delegates were or weren't selected, how they could change between last night and the convention, and how a caucus runs is something the state Democratic and Republican parties decide. Well, at the Capitol, it sounds like there's already State Representative Al Garnett talking about maybe having the legislature do something to make it a primary process again. So, what are the pros and cons of having that 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. primary option?
Well, I would say that there's almost nothing that Republicans and Democrats agree on more than that the current system is kind of fouled up. I heard a lot of discontent. I was at both parties last night. Republicans were upset. They thought they were going to take a presidential poll and weren't. Democrats were like, what are these crowds? I've been in line forever. Some just left in frustration. So I think you're going to see a bill in the legislature this year that both the state GOP and the state Democrats support to switch to a presidential primary for 2020. I think people are just more used to going to vote, and caucuses seem a little strange and unusual. The cons, of course, is that it reduces the influence of the few people that do show up.
And Marianne, I know you saw the same kind of frustration last night as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. People came to the caucuses, and even after it was explained to them that they were not going to be able to vote on the presidential candidates, they kind of tossed that idea out the window almost immediately and said, I want to vote. I want the delegates who we're selecting tonight to know what we think. And so they went ahead and did informal straw polls, and the one race that they could have influenced last night on who's going to run for the U.S. Senate on the Republican side, they didn't even talk about in the caucuses that I attended.
That's a huge thing because there's so many candidates.
13 candidates, and 2 of them are in Jefferson County, which is where I was going to caucus last night.
Well, Marianne, you broke some news earlier today that former Republican Representative Al White is going to make a run for Senate. What would that do to the legislative makeup of the Senate? Because it's just
as an independent, yeah.
Oh, as an independent.
And he is running as an independent, but Democrats are hopeful that he will agree to work with them should he get elected this fall. And what's at stake here is nothing less than who controls the state Senate. Right now, Republicans have a 1-seat advantage. Democrats are looking to target a couple of races that they think that they can be competitive in. There's 1 seat in Nevada that they'd like to go after. They want to make sure they hang on to the ones that are also open this year. But Senator White, and he actually won this seat back in 2008 as a Republican, gives them an opportunity to pick up either another seat or perhaps not worry so much if they lose one of the ones that they're trying to protect.
That'd be a 17-17-1 split if everything stayed the same.
That's exactly what it would be.
All right. Thank you both. Stay with us. We'll be right back.